Greetings, thank you for lending an ear to the Voice of the Times for Wednesday, December 15, 2021. For today's editorial, frightening bank hack shows need for better security. The large-scale scam that saw dozens and possibly hundreds of Banco de Oro or BDO customers' accounts robbed last weekend was frightening for any bank customer, even those whose accounts remained safe. While these banks involved and the relevant authorities at the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas or BSP quickly offered all the right assurances and have apparently begun the appropriate investigative and remedial steps in response to the incident, we believe that more needs to be done to prevent similar or even worse crimes. Although the story is even now somewhat unclear, what is known to have happened is that some party, whether an individual or group of people working together, was able to gain access to a large number of BDO customer accounts. Funds were then withdrawn from those accounts during the overnight hours on the weekend, at a time when the theft was not likely to be noticed immediately, and then transferred to a number of other accounts listed under false names. Most of the receiving accounts were at Union Bank of the Philippines. The stolen funds were then quickly withdrawn from those accounts, evidently mainly through the purchase of Bitcoin, which is virtually impossible to trace. The total amount of money stolen or the number of customers affected has not been disclosed. Based on stories shared on social media, the numbers would seem to be large. Most of the dozens of affected customers who shared their stories on Facebook or Twitter said the amounts stolen from individual accounts range from 30,000 pesos to 50,000 pesos, and even more in a few cases. What is most alarming about these stories is that most of those who were affected claim not to have fallen for any of the common tricks every bank in the country and the BSP have been diligently warning consumers about since the onset of the pandemic brought on an increase in attempted scams. It appears the online thieves were able to access sufficient customer information, such as passwords and telephone numbers, to give them access to their accounts without ever having to try to contact and obtain that information from customers themselves. This certainly needs to be carefully investigated, but if it turns out to be true, it indicates a serious security flaw within one or more banks' system or the various systems used to transfer customer funds between them. If that is the case, the entire banking system is vulnerable until the flaw is identified and fixed. Even without many details of the incident or the ongoing investigation and response having been publicly revealed yet, some discretion to prevent compromising the investigation is probably necessary. After all, we can see a couple of problematic issues that should be corrected immediately to reduce the chances of it happening again, or at least reducing the harm that can be done if it does. First, whatever the claimed benefits of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrency, it has been demonstrated time and again that it is both a source and enabler of criminal mischief. There should be no way that funds from a bank account can disappear into the untraceable Bitcoin ecosystem without at least one intermediate step that can be followed in case of an incident like the one last weekend. For their part, Philippine banks need to seriously reconsider their involvement with cryptocurrency. The BSP, on the other hand, should prioritize the study and implementation of necessary regulation of it. Second, it appears that limitations on the size of transactions, such as daily withdrawal limits from regular retail customer accounts, were either not followed or are too loose to prevent thieves from getting away with large amounts of money quickly. In the online discussions over the weekend and earlier this week, one of the reasons it appears Union Bank was targeted as the mule for the stolen funds is that it is rather easy to request an increase in its standard daily limit of 500,000 pesos. Obviously, some legitimate customers will have a need to do that, and they should be able to, but there should be more scrutiny applied to such requests. And that's the editorial for Wednesday, December 15, 2021. For more news and information, get a copy of the Manila Times on print. Subscribe to its digital edition or log on to www.manilatimes.net. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram and keep up with the times.